Hi, I'm Stephanie Watson, and this is Word Slingers. Many of us take the wilderness survival approach to writing. I'm going to venture out into the wilds of my story and my imagination, and either I figure out how to light a fire and build a shelter, or I'm going to die trying. Because that's what the real writers do, and I want to be a real writer, so that's what I'm going to do. I wrote for years like this, and if I managed to survive the wilderness of my story long enough to write a couple of drafts, only then would I allow myself some support in the form of a peer critique. But often that feedback felt like it was coming too late. I wish I would have known this stuff when I was writing the first and second drafts. Don't get me wrong, feedback from other people can be so helpful, but an isolated critique often feels like a flyover drop of survival supplies. I still need to figure out how to use all this stuff on my own. What is this thing? I mean, what does it even do? Do I need this piece or can I throw it away? What I longed for was someone on the ground with me the entire time, right from the beginning, watching my back as I whacked my way through the woods. Someone sitting with me by the campfire and talking through strategies for the next day's writing session. But that's cheating, right? Because real writers do it alone. A few years ago, I started writing a new novel totally alone, and I got really, really lost. I talked to my good friend and fellow children's book author Sarah Warren about it. She was wrestling with her own novel and facing a lot of the same challenges that I was. We were both so tired of wandering around in the scary story woods, lost all by ourselves. So we said, hey, what if we started writing on the buddy system? Not like co-authoring each other's stories explicitly, but just providing a lot of support and accountability as each of us worked on our individual projects. Here is my friend Sarah Warren, and she is my writing buddy, and we want to explain to you how writing on the buddy system works. And I'll start by saying that, unlike a traditional feedback group, we're not only meeting once a draft is completed, we're actually meeting while we're writing a draft to kind of go over ideas that we're thinking about writing.
Yeah, and what I like about the buddy system is that it's a really good complement to a critique group. So in my critique group, and I think this is pretty common, we have kind of a gag rule. So we're not supposed to defend our work. We're not supposed to really even describe what we're doing before or after we read. And that's not true with the buddy system.
Right.
We have a conversation. So I'm describing my work all over the place. I'm telling you what my plans are. You're encouraging me. I'm telling you about my fears, my worries, my hopes and dreams. And you're also challenging me. So you ask me lots of questions, really good questions. And I either need to be able to answer those questions or I need to admit to myself that I don't know the answer to those questions. And so that way I can kind of like build a strategy. You help me make a map so we can get through the woods.
Yes, exactly, making a map. Well, and I love being able to bring ideas to you before I've committed a whole bunch of time and energy to writing them into the story. I can say, all right, I'm thinking of making this huge change. Do you see any pitfalls if I do that, or what questions does that bring up? And then I can address those before I get in too deep.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Well, I love the buddy system, and I know that I'm never writing a novel alone again. Nobody's handing out wilderness badges to the person who spends the longest amount of time in the story wilds by themselves. So stay safe, stay sane, and start writing on the buddy system. Here's a little exercise to try if you want to see if the buddy system would work for you. So it's called the sandwich check-in. And what you need is a writing friend who's willing to do this with you. And the first step is in a call, a quick phone call, or a text or an email, you're going to tell your friend what you're planning on doing that particular day. So maybe you would say, all right, I'm planning to revise chapter 3, and I want to up the tension between my two main characters. And then your buddy tells you what they're planning on doing, and then you both go off in your separate corners and do your work, which is represented here by these tasty pencils. And then at the end of the day, you check in again and say what you actually accomplished. And so maybe I'd say, all right, I got halfway through chapter 3, which is less than what I hoped to do, but I'm really happy about the tension in the story, so I'm feeling good about that. And your friend says, good job, you. And then they say, well, here's what I got done. And then you give a virtual high five over text or the phone, and you can check in again next week. The sandwich check-in, I really like it because it helps to keep you accountable to what you hope to do, and it cuts the loneliness that often comes with writing. Because with this check-in, you're not the only one holding a vision of what you hope to accomplish. Your friend is holding it too. I'm not going to eat that.